Hey guys, we're starting this episode off a little bit different than what we normally do. Not because this is a special episode, but today is a very special day. 4/4/22, which would be 4 years ago from the time you guys are listening now. Um, Kristen and I officially got together. When we first met, I told her I may not be the best, but I would do my best for her. I also told her she said she wanted to keep her options open. She wasn't really sure that she wanted to start seeing other people, whatever, when we first started talking. I said, I just want to be an option whenever you decide to start talking to someone. Like, I just want to be a multiple choice answer. So, from that day till now, 4 years later, and we are a month away from getting married, I can't believe how special of a guy that I am. That's the fucking truth. But I can't believe how lucky of a guy I am to have Kristen at my side and to know that a month away she'll be taking my last name and writing a new chapter in our book is going to be something amazing. But I just wanted to start this episode out just for her. So I can't thank her enough for putting up with all my bullshit and sticking with me through all the times that we've had together so far. And I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with this wonderful woman. She has changed me, but she's changed me for the better. I love who I am with her, and I hate who I am when she's gone and when I don't get to see her. I've told her before, when she takes her trips away or whatever, it's nice to have the house to myself. It's nice to do my own thing. But at the same time, I just feel out of rhythm and out of step when she's not around. Sounds cheesy. I get it. But happy anniversary, sweetheart. We're going to go out to dinner tonight. I'm not sure where. She mentioned Mexican because she's a big Mexican fan. We also wanted to go to the boathouse in Marietta where we first met and maybe go down there and have dinner. So not sure where we're going to go, but we're definitely going out. But just to start this episode, happy anniversary, sweetheart. Let's get into the new episode, shall we?
Warning: the following podcast has been rated listener R due to strong language, violent situations, drug references, sexual innuendos, and who knows what else. Listener discretion is advised. With that being said, hang on, sugar tits, because we're about to get wobbled. Warning: the following podcast has been rated listener R due to strong language, violent situations, drug references, sexual innuendos, and who knows what else. Listener discretion is advised. With that being said, hang on, sugar tits, because we're about to get wobbled.
What is going on, guys? Clayton Wobble Elliott back with another episode of the Let's Get Wobbled podcast. We're going to try something a little different today. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a shot. So right now, I'm setting a timer on my laptop right there. Okay. So today, we're doing something a little different. Every time that I've done a podcast, I have been stationary. I've been sitting down, drinking a beer or smoking a cigar or something along those lines, and just kind of been talking to you guys that way. So this time, I am moving around my kitchen. I have the laptop set up kind of off in the corner where it's not in the way. And I'm going to try to do a podcast while cooking my dinner because I struggle to find time to make time for the podcast. And I thought, well, what if I can do the podcast while I'm doing other things? So this podcast might be a complete flop. It might be weird with the audio in the background of other things going on. I don't know. This is just a huge trial run. This could be the best idea ever. It could be the worst idea ever. And I know what you're thinking. Other people have done cooking shows and podcasts and stuff like that before, but I have zero knowledge on how they do that. So I'm just testing it myself. So, first things first, let me tell you what we're making tonight, and then I will kind of explain what this episode is going to be about. So, for tonight, we are doing a chicken. Well, I can't even fucking think of what I want to say right now. Oh, tonight for dinner we're doing a chicken parm with a protein pasta. Um, so beforehand, I was always a big pasta kid. I loved my grain. I love pasta, breads, stuff like that. Basically, growing up, that was a staple for me is pasta. Like we had pasta or some sort of starch every night with a meal. So here recently, this is we're about halfway through March, let's just say. Um, I've decided, Kristen and I both decided that we were going to start our diets as a New Year's. I never did like the term New Year's resolution because I feel like the term just doesn't stick. But I feel like a New Year's, like something different. We're going to try something a little different. We're going to work at things a different way, maybe. I don't know. But I thought I wanted to do something for the new year. Um, I just, I've always been a bigger person. I guess I've been heavier. Um, and I was always okay with that. I was a lineman in school when I played football. Um, I was a center when I played basketball. I was a first baseman when I played baseball. I'm not built for speed, and I know that. I've been that way for a long time. However, I wanted to try and start eating a little bit more healthy, um, having a little bit better choices for my meals. My biggest thing is not eating so much. And I know a lot of people do have like these hookups and have bad relationships with food. And I've never wanted to be that person that felt like, well, I don't have a bad relationship with food. If I'm hungry, I eat. Well, that's the problem. So training yourself and trying to figure out how to change things so that way, are you eating because you're hungry or are you eating because you're bored is a big thing. Another thing that comes along with that too is, am I overeating? And overeating, I've struggled with overeating for a long time. And I don't blame my parents for this so much, but just to throw it out there, which I know I've said a bunch of times, we really weren't a very rich family. We were a middle to low class family, I believe, and we were the kind of people that we didn't let food go to waste. We just were not wasteful. Um, so it was either we had it for leftovers the next day if there was anything left over from dinner, or we ate until it was gone. I mean, that's just how I grew up knowing. Um, and I know there's some other families like that, and I'm not saying that that's a bad way to live. I still very much so live off leftovers, but I'm not ashamed if there is leftovers. So I used to feel like if I eat everything, I don't have to eat this again tomorrow, or well, there's just a little bit left, so if I eat it today, it won't go to waste. And trying to change that mindset so that it's not so much um, in a bad way, I guess, and trying to look at food like a little bit more in a positive way. And I'll let you guys know now. Um, I am not recommending anybody change what they're doing. I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit there and tell you that what you're doing is wrong and you should try it my way or this and that. I'm not that kind of person. I've never been the kind of person to tell you that you're doing the wrong thing or, you know, tell you that you need to change because, you don't. If this isn't a change that you want to make to yourself, then by all means, eat what you want, do what you want. Don't let me be the reason that you're going to change something because you think it's right. Because I do a lot of wrong things in my life. Don't get me wrong. But since the new year, I've really buckled down. Um, so our big thing, Kristen's been doing it for a while, anyways. But for me, I wasn't really joining the train right away until we both sat down and kind of made a pact that we were going to try our best to do better with our eating habits. So since the new year, I've cut out the majority of pop. I do not keep soda here at the house. If we do go out to dinner or something like that, I might have a soda or a pop or something. It just depends. But for the most part, I've been trying to drink a lot of water. Um, and even that has helped out tremendously. So cutting that out. Also, watching our calorie intake a little bit, not super deep diving into the calories, the macros, the shit like that. Just trying to watch what we're eating. I guess this is going to be the true testament of whether this podcast is going to work or not, because not only am I cooking in the background with all kinds of noises and stuff, the dogs have also chosen to eat their dinner at about 5 o'clock. So the boys are going to be eating. I'm going to be cooking. We'll see where this goes. It could be a disaster. So please buckle your seatbelts. Okay, back to what I was saying. We're not necessarily counting macros and super duper watching calories, but we're just choosing less calorie options. Um, Even only being, I mean, I'm not 30 yet, but the doctors prescribed me with a low dose of blood pressure medication, cholesterol. My doctor prescribed me with a low dose cholesterol medication. And that's not something that I want to continue to do. I don't feel like I can change things about me to help better my health. And everybody was always asking, like, why are you doing this? And I honestly felt like I was in good health before. I would just like to see a difference in my body. And I don't know if me doing this is going to or not, but honestly, the path that I've been on for the last 3 months, I felt like it's been very productive. Um, I like the way that I feel. I will say in the last 3 months, I've lost almost 25 pounds. Um, and that comes within different ways, and I'll kind of explain how we've been doing that to help shed the weight. Kristen has lost a lot more, but she has been working at this for over a year now, which when I've only started for the 3 months. So now tonight's meal, I know what you're thinking. I'm telling you that we're doing kind of a low cal thing. Tonight, the panko breadcrumbs that I'm using probably aren't the greatest, but the protein pasta I feel is better than just the regular pasta. So that's kind of our low calorie style. We've even kind of changed our menu up a little bit, and that's helped us a lot too. A lot of people ask us our biggest thing, menus. So at the beginning of the week, we sit down, we figure out what we want for dinners, and that's super hard because it's hard to figure out what you want through the entire week just starting the week. So we get on different websites, we look up different recipes and things that look good and things we think we can duplicate, and we work it and we try to get it to where everything works out. Um, but from that, we then create a grocery list of things that we need. From that list of dinners that we're going to have. And then from there, that creates our grocery list. So that also helps us save money too. Um, I've had a lot of friends tell me, like, man, it's so hard to go to the grocery store because we get everything, we get things we don't need. We're spending all this money on our groceries, and our grocery bill kind of looks a little outrageous. And for that, I tell people, like, if you have a menu and you sit down with your menu and you figure out, okay, what do I have? What do I need? And limit yourself to that. And then obviously, like, there's other things too, your essentials, things that you need outside of your dinners. But if you don't need it, it doesn't go on the grocery list. That's my biggest thing. Going to the grocery store also is a big hassle. I'm a firm believer. I truly love Walmart Plus. If you don't have Walmart Plus or you're not so sure about it, you've been on the fence about it before, I would recommend it. The reason that I recommend it the most is no matter which way that I go from my house, Walmart is 30 minutes away. So, not horrible. It would get me out of the house. I don't mind grocery shopping per se. If I take Kristen with me, it's spending quality time with her that I do enjoy. But at the same time, it is it's money saving. You pay $100 per year for the subscription. Now, I know some people have had difficulties with the Walmart Plus. I understand we've had difficulties in the past. I think I've shared it on the podcast before. But if it's going to happen, you're adding human error into that equation. It happens sometimes. But to be open and honest, I think that Walmart Plus is really good. Um, I think it's helped me save money. I truly do. I'm not going in the grocery store and going, oh, this looks good, and then purchasing it just because it looks good and I don't have any reason for it. or going down the snack aisle. That's my biggest thing, guys. I was a big snacker, and the reason I feel like I was a big snacker was because I knew I would be hungry when I got bored. So finding ways to figure out how can I combat this boredom? Because when I'm bored, I want to eat. And I don't know if that's my relationship with food that's caused that or what, but I truly believe that finding other things to do other than eat helped me a lot too. But don't get me wrong, I have my healthier snacks for work. Um, like I still have my breakfasts. I'm very big on breakfast. I try to find low calorie ways to do things. Trying to think of some of the bigger things that we've changed in our diets. Basically, I told you guys that we kind of quit the pop. Um, it was funny. My buddy Jonathan came over. We were hanging out while the girls were getting their nails done, and I was like, "Hey, do you want anything to drink?" And I named off these different things that I had. He's like, water or beer, I guess. It's no big deal, whichever you have." I was like, "Oh, by the way, I've got Dr. Pepper too." He's like, "Well, I thought you guys quit drinking pop." And I said, "Well, we did." I said, "The issue is I've had a case of Dr. Pepper sitting out in our storage room kind of for over 2 months." I said, we don't drink pop." And I said, it's probably a big temptation that you have to drink the pop. And I said, "It kind of is." But I said, "Once you're this far into it, it's not really a temptation anymore." I said, "It's not really too bad." But I said, "You can have the whole case if you want." And I'm not saying that you drinking pop is bad. I've known people who drink a lot of pop. I know people who haven't ever tasted pop. It's all depending on what you're wanting out of your diet if you choose to do it. The biggest thing is sticking with it. Um, there have been foods that we've tried that we're like, this is really not much different than what we would have had before. I definitely just fucked that up. I'm making the chicken parms. I'm supposed to put it in the dry first, then the wet, then the breadcrumbs, and I just dunked it in the egg like it was fucking nothing. Now I've got a wet chicken titty that I'm just gonna have to put breading on it. I have to put flour on it, and then maybe put it in the egg again. Maybe I don't know because I don't want to put breadcrumb on it because then the breadcrumbs aren't gonna stick. But our big thing is trying to find out what substitutes we like. Um, I've actually liked ground turkey as a substitute for red meat. Not bad. I know a lot of people are like, "Well, I'm not getting rid of my ground meat. That's just who I am. I always love my red meat. It's sticking with me," which is fine. I do not disapprove of red meat. Believe me, I eat my steak and I eat my ground burger, and I love everything about it. Another big thing that I truly actually enjoy here lately: keto bread. And though we haven't really put a name to our diet, like we're not specifically doing the keto diet, or we're not specifically doing um, like a carnivore diet per se or anything like that. We've just found different things that are a little less with calories that we truly like. Um, I stopped eating so much bread. I used to be a person, and I can remember as a kid, um, spaghetti night, uh, beef and noodle night. Um, boy, I'm trying to think of some others that are really big. Breakfast, especially. It was always toast or always butter bread that went with it. Um, and I really stopped eating a lot of bread. We would go through a loaf of bread, maybe a loaf a week, maybe more of bread. And now I can make a loaf last until it molds. And then I end up having to throw it away because we just don't eat it like we used to. But I've found Delight. Sarah Lee makes a delightful bread that's 45 calories per slice. And instead of 3 or 4 pieces of bread, I will only have two, maybe on my weekends, where I cheat a little bit more than I do on my weekdays. But I don't just sit down and have a sandwich or bread like I used to all the time. I found a lasagna recipe that does not use noodles. It's like a substitute noodles that you use cream cheese and basically cream cheese is your base, and then your low fat or non fat mozzarella cheese, um, and ricotta, and you basically make a noodle out of it. Like you pre bake it, and it turns into almost tastes kind of like a lasagna noodle, really, but it's a lot less calories than your pasta, and it tastes amazing. You can't really tell a difference, in my opinion. I know my dad's always been a big person. Like, I enjoy turkey sausage, I always have. Um, I enjoy different like substitutions of like turkey or chicken instead of your other products like that you enjoy normally. My dad's always been a big person. Oh, don't feed me turkey sausage because I can tell the difference. I just know that it's different. Going into this, I knew things were going to be different. I told myself that. Like, things aren't going to obviously taste the same if you're going on a diet, but are they going to taste good enough that you enjoy them? That's truly the biggest thing, because if you don't like the food, you're obviously not going to stick with it. And I think that I've found, boy, that fucking sounded stupid too. I think that I've found there are foods out there that I can substitute and still enjoy. And another big thing too, and Kristen's not so much about the cheat nights. She tries to stick with the diet pretty well. I enjoy my cheat nights, but when I cheat, I don't cheat to the fullest. I think that's my biggest like victory. Yeah, I'm gonna have a cheat night, but if I have a burger, which even burgers aren't necessarily bad, I'm not saying that they are, but I'm trying to think of something that I might cheat on, or if I have a dessert or something, or if I have something that doesn't necessarily fit my diet, I'll limit myself on it. I won't eat the whole thing, or I'll only eat a piece of it, or I just it's hard to try to list things that you just threw together off the top of your head because I didn't write anything down because I've got gloves on and I'm one hand is for wet chicken, one hand is for dry chicken, and I'm trying to get everything squared away as well as getting everything ready. And that's another thing too. I have an Alexa, which is funny because I had to say her name and then pause so that way I wasn't talking to her specifically. But if you don't have one of those, um, just using your phone to Google recipes or something like that and ask questions. And if you know anybody, even me, if anybody wants to text or message or ask me, hey, listen, I need some ideas. What are your favorites? I can hook you up with some recipes that we really enjoy. And what works for me isn't going to work for you. I think that's the most important thing, is finding something that you like and sticking to it. I think that's massively important because if you, like I said, if you don't like it, you're not going to stick to it. And I think that I've found something for me that I truly do enjoy. We mix things up a little bit. And like I said, the biggest thing is for those cheat nights. If you're going to cheat, by all means, cheat. Have a cheat night. Have a night where you don't care what your calorie intake is, you don't care what you're eating, or whatever that may be. Or if you do decide that, hey, listen, I might want to, cheat a little bit, but I'm not going to cheat as heavy. That's my biggest thing. I don't mind cheating a little bit, but I'll cheat. Like, fries are my weakness, man. If I have something good like burgers and fries or burgers and tots, I just went to Wings Etc. with Poling not long ago, the same night that he was asking about the Dr. Pepper, and I had a chicken mac and cheese, which the mac and cheese was actually less calories than the wrap that I was looking at. So I was like, okay, that's a bonus. So I'll go ahead and do that. But it came with an order of fries or tots, and I couldn't tell myself to turn it down. So I didn't eat all of them. I only ate a few of them just to kind of get that feeling of that was really good or whatever. But like I said, what I do isn't going to work for everybody. And I hope that if you decide that this is kind of something that you want to try, by all means, go for it. Um, it has been a struggle in times. There are times where I want to quit my diet and I want to go back to eating like a fat fucking pig. But like, I'm also going to keep the realization that this is easily attainable. This is something that I can do every day. However, like when I go to Cleveland for Memorial, it's probably going to be difficult, for the places that we eat to try to stick with the diet. So that's going to be one of those things where if I'm probably going to cheat at some of those meals, but maybe I can find a way to still incorporate something of my diet so that I'm not full blown going into, oh, I'm going to cheat this entire day, blah, 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 whatever. And I hope that people aren't listening to this and thinking that like I'm turning into a lifestyle coach and I'm telling you this is what you need to do, because it's not. I just needed something to do for a podcast anyways, and I thought that I would kind of try this because I'm staying busy while also putting out content for you guys, and I don't know that it's even going to work. But I might put this out even if it's a shitty fucking podcast just to have content out because I haven't been the greatest at making content lately. But no matter what, we're going to make this work. So another thing that I really wasn't sure that I was going to. So we had ahi tuna one night, and I was cooking it. I've never cooked ahi tuna before. I was still kind of playing around with it, trying to figure out what worked best. And basically, you cook it like a steak. You cook it fast. You cook it hard. You cook it hot. Um, and I was worried that when I cooked it, I was like, man, I don't think this is going to taste good just by looking at it. I wasn't even giving it an opportunity. And when I tell you that it is the most like steak tasting fish that I've ever had, it was actually very good. And we recommended that we were going to definitely try it again. We just haven't had it on our menu since because we haven't been to Sam's Club to pick up some tuna. Another one of our favorites, we always liked a taco night or a fajita night. And we'll mix it up. We'll use ground beef. We'll use turkey. We'll use shrimp, different proteins, but we also get the low calorie or 0 calorie wraps. I've heard good and bad things about them. I've heard some people say that they're not great for weight loss. I've heard people say that they've had them and then their weight loss has stopped because of them. But here's the thing, once again, it all wraps around to finding what works for you. We love our taco nights. It's not, I mean, I am willing to give it up, but I do enjoy a good taco night. I like a wrap. I never did really like the nachos, like taco nachos or taco bowls or whatever. I prefer a wrap or um, a burrito, a soft taco. I'm not a big crunchy taco person, but I found a way for me, anyways, that it kind of seems like it balances or helps out or whatever. So that's what I've stuck with. Um, a lot of people have asked me too, hey, Wobble, are you feeling a difference or noticing a difference in your energy or your sleep, or do you feel any different? Because I feel like that's everybody's attainable goal when they start losing weight or they start eating healthier. They're wanting results immediately. My biggest thing, I'll answer the question first, and I'll continue, I guess, so that I'm not bunny trailing so much. I haven't really noticed much of a difference. I wouldn't say my energy's gained or dropped or anything. I don't necessarily feel any different. I still feel fat and fucking happy, but I was fat and fucking happy before I started, and I knew that. So, but I can see that the scale number is changing, and I know that that's not always going to happen. No matter how hard that I try, I know there's going to be trials, tribulations, and just times where my body reaches a peak where there's going to be a time where I haven't lost a bunch of weight. Here's my secret, and I know people are going to think, oh, this is, I don't know why Wobble's telling me this. This doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing it if you're not chasing your goals? I do not step on the scale every day. There's no need for me to do that, in my opinion. I know some people are going to say, well, you have to so you can track those goals. If I were to step on the scale and look and see, hey, I've lost fucking 10 pounds, I'm going to be super ecstatic about that because it showed that I'm working hard and it's proof that what I'm doing is paying off. Now, if I'm doing the exact same thing that I've been doing the next week and I step back on the scale and I gained weight, I'm going to be discouraged. So for me, it's not so much as the weight on the scale. It's me in my head knowing that I'm doing a better job than what I used to be. My biggest thing, like I said, is overeating. I overate a lot. And just me sitting down and eating less makes me feel better. Eating until I'm satisfied and not till I'm completely full. That was honestly the hardest part, I think, in all this for me was telling myself that it's okay to stop and you not be like 100% stuffed. I feel like that was something big for me, and I had a difficult time figuring that balance out. It took a while for me to be able to do it, but I think now it's become a lot easier. I remember the first time that I went to a restaurant, ordered a big plate of food, and almost had an argument with myself in my head, like, "Hey, it's okay to not finish this. It's okay to not ask for a to-go box." because you get to that point in the meal, and I know people have been like this, and I think that that was one of my big downfalls was, so I'm at a restaurant. Let's just say I order chicken wings. I order like 20 of them or however many or whatever. And let's say I eat 15 chicken wings and there's 5 chicken wings left. To me, those 5 chicken wings aren't going to do much for me if I eat them later. So my old self would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and fucking slam these last 5 chicken wings. It's 5. I don't wanna waste them. I paid for them, so I'm gonna eat them." Well, then you'd make yourself miserable. So either telling yourself, "Hey, it's okay to take those home even though there's just 5 of them," or my biggest thing was, "Hey, you don't even have to take these home if you don't want them. Like, you can eat as much as you want to until you feel satisfied, and then you don't have to take that food home. It's not you don't have to bring home a to-go box with you just because you can't finish your meal." Another thing that's really nice too is I actually enjoy leftovers. Some people do have hiccups about leftovers. So I've been the kind of person that I don't mind making extras, knowing that I'm going to eat them through the week. Like at least once, maybe twice, I'm okay with the same leftovers. Um, so I don't mind making a little bit of extra food, cutting myself off when I'm full or when I feel satisfied, and then eating leftovers for the week. I know some people will find that hard. And I think that's a little bit more difficult and challenging too, because then you can't utilize what leftovers you do have. But like I said, once again, finding what works for you is most important. And like I said, do yourself a favor, have those cheat days. Don't get discouraged by the cheat days. Enjoy your cheat days. It's a fucking cheat day. It's supposed to be something that's a little bit not so much maybe healthy for you. Um, Another thing too, I just pulled out of the fridge. I've found that sparkling water has helped me so much with pop. I used to drink a lot of fucking pop, a lot, way more than I should have. The sparkling water just gives the sensation of pop without having the calories, without having the sugar, without having the caffeine or sodium or anything like that. And it still tastes just as good. So finding stuff that works for you is important to your diet or your changes because that's what's going to make you push further, I guess. I celebrate. I celebrate my, I guess you would say, kind of weight loss stuff. I know alcohol is very bad for weight loss. I do not mind having a beer and telling myself, "Hey, buddy, you did a good job." With a little pat on the back. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. So right now, I'm in the process of cooking the chicken. I'm gonna try to do it in the oven because I don't want to pan fry it with the oil. Um, so we're going to put the chicken parm in the oven. Then I will cook the protein pasta over the boiling water. When that gets a little bit closer, we'll use the red sauce. Red sauce has been another big thing. I don't know how much this red sauce that I have is 70 calories for half a cup. Not fucking great. A lot of sodium, which does not fucking help me much. But it doesn't all have to be fucking perfect. It's your diet. It should be something that you want to chase and that you want to obtain if it's something that you're willing to do. But cauliflower rice, another big thing that we've actually enjoyed. If you season cauliflower rice, it is delicious. It is a great substitute for the grain and the rice that we used to always eat. We used to love mashed potatoes, rice, those grains, those starches. Those were our fucking staple for every fucking meal. I've always grown up knowing that I was going to be a meat and potato kind of kid. And growing up as an adult too, I mean, those were my staples because they were easy to make. They're delicious. But I've kind of backed away from the potatoes a little bit. They have protein mashed potatoes, instant protein mashed potatoes. They're not probably the greatest thing for you, but it's better than just regular ass fucking mashed potatoes. That's what I'm saying is if you're interested in something like this or trying to find out what you're into, what you're looking for, find things that you enjoy that help cut back maybe a little bit, I guess. I used to be a huge breakfast person and I still kind of am to this day. I've switched up my breakfast things a lot. I used to when I was at work, I was in a position where I could make my own breakfast when I get to work. I would take 3 eggs, sausage, toast, and I would put a bunch of cheese on my eggs. Um, so now, like, I've cut back a little bit on the eggs, added more egg whites, switched the sausage to turkey sausage if I do it. I've switched the turkey sausage to Canadian bacon. That's not as bad for you than the regular sausage that I was eating. Maybe switching the bacon from a regular bacon to a turkey bacon. Um, Instead of doing the heavier bread, switching to a lower calorie bread or these delight. I don't think they're delight, but we have bagel thins to make sandwiches out of. Just trying to find places where you can cut corners. Potato chips, those are fucking horrible for you. We have found protein chips from Quest that make good protein chips. Quaker makes a like rice cake chip kind of taste. It's actually not fucking bad. I actually enjoy kettle cooked chips, so I found kettle cooked chips with less fat or low fat, low sodium. Um, are they great for me? Probably not. But if I eat them in moderation and I only eat one handful, I take a handful and I put it in a bowl and I limit myself to that handful, then so fucking what? I'm still enjoying my chips without eating the whole fucking bag like a motherfucking fat ass. That's just my big take on today. I don't know if this is going to go over well. I feel like a fucking life coach. And I always hated those fucking people. I hated the people that are like, you're fucking fat and you should fucking change everything so you can live a happier, better life. I don't feel that way at all. I don't, if you don't want to fucking change anything about the way you're doing life, then fucking do it. If you want to smoke crack for the rest of your fucking life, I hope you smoke it to the best of your fucking ability. It ain't my fucking job to change it. That's not my thing to tell you you shouldn't. If that's what you want to fucking do with your life, it's your fucking life. Live it to the best. I try to do that with mine. I try to live every day like it's my last. Um, and I strive to make myself great. Um, Kristen and I had a conversation in the car coming back from my mom's house. We went to visit her. We're actually setting up like a little kind of date thing, but I'm also spending time with my mom and taking her with us. We're going to go to Top Golf. I really enjoy golfing. Kristen does not enjoy golfing, but she enjoys going to Top Golf, I think. I think. Um, I know she's not great at it, but I think she just likes the quality time that we get to spend together. And I'm having my mom tag along, so it's kind of like a family date kind of thing, whatever you want to call it. Well, there it is. Chris and I were having the conversation on the way back from the car, and I asked her a question that it's one of those deep thought questions. I said, if you were gifted the opportunity to look at your life expectancy clock, okay, so let's say that you're standing in a room and there's a guy there and he's holding a sign and it says, um, you can choose to look at this clock and it shows you how much time you have left to live. And it counts. It's like he pulls the cover off and it shows you a clock that's counting down. And that tells you how much time you've got left on this earth. Um, I said, if you were gifted that opportunity, would you take the opportunity to look at the time and see how much time you had left? And like her biggest question was, does that clock depend on the path that I'm going on now? Or is that clock just set? And no matter what I do, no matter what decisions that I make, that's the end all be all. And I said, we'll take it from both ends. Try to figure out that sounded bad. Take it in like two different perspectives. So, perspective one is yes, no matter what you do, if you were to smoke crack for the rest of your life and that clock is still set, that's the day that you're going to die. Or take it as in the way you're living life right now, there's your end. But if you make changes, it will then change your clock. So she kind of went back and forth and she said that she would like to see it and she would like to maybe do different things if her time was different. And she turned that back on me. And to be honest, this is my honest answer. I'm not giving any bullshit. If I was given that opportunity, I would turn around and walk out the room. I would not want to see what my clock looks like. And I know a lot of people would say, well, wouldn't that be beneficial? Because then you could kind of plan things and know that, okay, I've got a 40-year plan that I'm only going to make it 40, 50, 60 more years. So I need to get this shit done in that amount of time. So that way I can say that I've completed my bucket list, which was Kristen's kind of thing. Wouldn't you want to see that so that way you knew how much life you have left to live to be able to do the things that you want to do? And my answer was no, simply because I want to live life like today's my last day. And I don't want that clock to change my perspective on my life. I feel like I'm living a great life right now. Sure, there are different things that I'd like to change, but I feel like I still am living life the way that I want to live it. And I don't want me looking at that time and saying, oh, this is going to change it. Or I have to change it. Or I have to do something different. Or um, just, I don't want it to change the way I'm doing shit right now because I feel like the way that I'm doing shit right now is fucking working. I feel like I'm doing okay. Another big question, what is your follow up? If you choose to look at the time, are you going to tell anybody about it? So if Kristen were to look at the clock and say, "Hey, listen, I've got 50 years left," great for you. That's awesome. If that was the case, I'm just saying. You know, but what if you weren't allowed to tell anybody? My biggest thing was, would you see changes in somebody if they were to look at their clock? Because in my opinion, if you look at that clock and then tomorrow you make drastic fucking changes, are you trying to change it because you're like, "Well, I want my clock to look better," or are you changing it because you want to, and it's something that you feel like you wanna do? See, that's in the where the position that I'm in now. I'm not changing this diet, I'm not doing these things to help better my life expectancy and hope that I live on this planet another 5 years, whereas if I was doing it before, that I would just not, and I would go sooner. I'm doing this to help me feel better about the whole thing, the whole situation, and like I said, I may not have the best goals. I am setting goals. There are achievements that I would like to see. But at the same time, if I don't hit them, I still know that I'm doing something about it. And to me, that's the biggest thing. So I'm gonna kind of wrap this up, I think, maybe because I'm kind of running out of shit to say. And I've got like 12 minutes until I gotta flip my chicken boobs. But I want you guys to think if you like not only the diet thing, you guys don't even have to fucking pay attention to the whole diet bullshit. But my question of the day today would be if you got to look at that life clock, would it change the way that you would do things tomorrow? Um, if you were able to see that time clock, would you tell anybody about it? Or would you let the people in your life continue on and see how people would react when you do go? Like, I've heard a lot of people say, if you didn't come visit me alive, I don't want you to visit me when I'm dead. So if you told somebody that, hey, my life expectancy clock is very low, I would like to spend more time with you. Are you getting the true side of that person that you just talked to after they start spending every waking day and moment with you? To me, I don't think so. So I believe wholeheartedly that I I wouldn't take a look at the clock, but if for some reason I was talked into or forced into, I wouldn't tell anybody, wouldn't tell a soul. I would just continue living my life the way that it is. At least I would hope that I would, and I wouldn't make changes. God forbid my fucking clock says an hour from now. But even if it does, I'm ready to meet my maker. I truly believe that. I'm ready to go whenever God's willing to take me. I know some people believe in different religions and different things and afterlives and whatever have you, but I believe that there is a heaven. And I believe that I hopefully am going. Um, that'll have to be something that I talk to God about when I get to the gates. But truly, I believe that whenever my time is my time to go, I'm ready to go. So, but that's just that. I hope that you guys live your life like that too. I hope that there aren't severe changes that you want to make in your life. And what I'm saying about that is if there are, stop waiting. Stop hoping that things are going to get better and go make them better. Do better for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I ask of you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this podcast didn't turn to shit. And we'll see you next time. Till next time, stay fucking wobbled. Matter of fact, I'm going to have me a fucking Tito's and sugar free lemonade because I feel like I accomplished something today. Have a good one, guys. Catch you later.